Hi, I'm making another YouTube video. It's been like 7 years. Thanks for 10,000 subscribers, you guys. I really appreciate it. Next up, 7 million. If you're asking why I haven't posted in so long, I don't know what to tell you. I just haven't. Get over it. Now on to the actual subject of the video. I've recently been upset with the state of Destiny 2 and how it is being handled by Bungie, and I'm sick of complaining to my clan. So I thought I'll just make a YouTube video instead. You may have noticed that I am not playing Destiny, and it is simply for the reason that I played earlier today. I got really frustrated and I stopped playing, and that's what prompted me to make this video. I'm playing No Man's Sky while recording this. You're going to watch me play this because it's fun. I've made notes in my phone about things that have specifically upset me and put them into categories, and I'm going to talk through them. I don't know how long this video will be or what content will come out of it. I just wanted to rant, and I'm going to rant. Starting off, I want to talk about how I feel the state of the game is currently, and it feels kind of as bad as Curse of Osiris. When everybody stopped playing, Bungie kind of realized they were killing their franchise and had like several community summits because they wanted to show off that there was still content and people should have faith in the game. Yeah, Bungie kind of seems to be treading on those waters right now, where it's hard to take a leap of faith with Bungie and how they're handling Destiny when the content they're putting out is lackluster and how they engage with the community is very immature and tone deaf. For context, I'm going to be talking primarily about Lightfall. I didn't buy Lightfall on release, nor did I be an idiot and pre-order it. I waited till it was on sale for $33, and I'm going to be honest, it's still not worth $33. I think the content, and for what it was worth adding to Lightfall, is maybe worth $20 to $25. There really isn't a lot to Lightfall because it's just a filler expansion. Oh, and maybe 10 of the dollars are for Strand, because Strand's very fun. They did a good job with Strand. This video is very lightly scripted. I have bullet points on my phone. I'm not going to do a lot of editing, and I may just end up walking around in most of the No Man's Sky footage because to just talk and ramble is pretty easy. My first category is transparency and communication, and I think this is where a lot of my grievances with Bungie and how they're handling Destiny 2 come from. I'm going to briefly talk about the NDA leaks. Wow, both sides really handled that like shit, huh? If I lost respect for a lot of people, yeah. Do I want to keep talking about this? No. Sandbox changes. When Bungie updates and makes patch notes, and then forgets to include, I don't know, 9, 10, 11, 10 things, it kind of feels like you lied about what was in the patch notes and then waited for them to go live before telling the community what actually is happening. And that feels extremely disingenuous and makes me lose even more faith in Bungie's ability to communicate truthfully to the community about the changes they want to make to their game. When I came back to Destiny, Armor 3.0 had come out and all of my previous builds were ruined. And that's okay. But there is nothing to replace them with the current lack of builds that the mods allow. There's maybe 1 or 2 builds, but that all comes down to you using your subclass and not the armor. And then they changed how those 1 or 2 builds can function because it doesn't make a lot of sense to me why you wouldn't be transparent when you've reworked the system and then are changing the reworked system again, but do not want to explain to the community why these changes are being made. Let's move on to difficulty. Difficulty in this case refers to Lightfall and the content that came from Lightfall, i.e. the campaign, the raid, Neomuna. I'll state, I like Neomuna being, difficult and not as easy to survive in. That's fine. I have no issues with it. The campaign itself felt very weirdly balanced. I played through on solo legendary mode, but at some points in the campaign, desperately had to wait for my clanmates to come and help me with activities because they did not seem balanced in that a solo player could reasonably deal with them. And there were also points in the campaign where I felt like I had accidentally not clicked on Legendary. It just feels like it wasn't play tested nor balanced to the level you would expect from a big several dollar expansions campaign. It's disappointing. To lightly touch on Root of Nightmares, which has its own section in my notes because wow, the difficulty in that raid is non-existent. It is a strike or dungeon with the quality of mechanics and the lack of mechanics. Shockingly. I did not participate when contest mode was active, and I don't think I would have noticed a difference compared to the normal raid, because contest mode was very poorly scaled for endgame players. I watched Data's video, and I agree. If this is the way that Bungie wants to make raids, and the raid race is going to be a 2-hour event instead of a 6 to 8 hour event, if it's going to be easy, tell the community. Once again, explain to them that this is the experience you are catering this activity towards. But they didn't, and it left people woefully confused and extremely disappointed. Enough on difficulty. Let's talk about Lightfall. What happened with the narrative team on this one? First things first, all the plot MacGuffins. Osiris screams at me to figure out what the Veil is. He obviously knows. I don't. It's not told to me. It's not explained to me. But get this. Next season, there will be a mission that will explain the Veil months after it has come out. That doesn't solve the issue, Bungie. It's too little too late. I don't care if the Veil is the greatest Destiny reveal. Any hype that you could have generated by this MacGuffin is completely lost because you have done it months after it has come out and nobody cares anymore. On top of that, I still don't know what the radial mast is or why that matters. It's a thing that does a thing for a thing, but none of the things are explained. Another part of the narrative that I don't quite understand is the Cloud Arc. It's very confusing, and I don't really understand how it works because it's supposed to be in tandem with the Veil, which hasn't been explained. Next, let's talk about the Cloud Striders. Nimbus and Brohan! I know that Lightfall is supposed to be an 80s inspired campaign or story, but a lot of the tropes and references to 80s culture are very, very, very much lost on me. Because I, like probably a good bit of the player base, were not born in the 80s. And therefore, most stuff falls flat. But it was very obvious Brohan was going to die, and that dipshit Nimbus was going to take over as our Cloud Strider. Nimbus is not written to be likable in any context. Maybe there's one good cutscene, the river one, but that's it. Brohan is so obviously a much more engaging and interesting character. It's a pity that he gets killed off because, wow, I'm left with Nimbus, who tries to fist bump Keitel after her father is murdered. Great story writing. As this is supposed to be the penultimate expansion for the first saga, I'm left with more questions than answers. I'm more confused about the direction Destiny's going in narratively. The Jez made a fantastic video talking about how this narrative is Dookie Stains, and I can't remember the name. It'll be in the description if I remember. YouTuber had rewrote Destiny's Lightfall narrative, but kept all the same plot points, just did them way better. Does not take a lot to fix the dog shit campaign that we got. But hoo-hee-hoo-hoo-ha-ha, what we got is what we got. So, my next conversational piece is Root of Nightmares. I told you I'd get back to it. What did I say before? How it was a joke of a raid with a lack of mechanics, and contest was pitifully unengaging to the point that it's been soloed, 1-manned, 3-manned, 17-manned. All the mans have been in contest mode. Before I start bashing the raid, I would like to state it is easily one of the most beautiful sandboxes Bungie has created to date. There is no doubt in my mind that it was crafted with a lot of love and a lot of passion. You can see it in the terrain. But that doesn't save the raid. Just because it looks pretty doesn't mean it plays pretty. And it really doesn't. I have run the raid twice with my clan. And both times, I have refused to learn mechanics because I don't need to. I don't need to learn this raid. I just shoot things, and I'm told to stand somewhere, and I will stand somewhere. That is as deep as this strike goes. And it is very disappointing that that's the kind of content that we got. It makes Lightfall look even more rushed and even more like a filler piece of DLC than its own standalone expansion. Nezarec is a cool boss, and the fact that he runs around like a psychopath screaming the whole time is very, very fun. But I still don't know how that mechanic works, like actually the whole boss fight, because once again, I just get told to stand somewhere and I Thunderlord. And this isn't to say that I don't want to learn. I very much like doing mechanics in raids. It's just The lack of mechanics in this dungeon is very apparent, and it negatively impacts how I view the experience. The best way I could compare this raid is that it's like a raid layer from Osiris or Warmind. I harp it on Curse of Osiris because it calls back to earlier in the video when I said that's how the state of the game feels. It's bad. On to my next point, PvP. Wow. I've never seen a studio hate their community more than when it comes to Bungie and PvP. I recently went flawless last weekend. I didn't go flawless just because of skill or my ability to shoot people. I did it because I grinded to rank 10 and got an immortal with good rolls. And I murdered people. I massacred them. I mowed them down in nilth of a second. When it comes to balancing the game, it feels like Bungie just does not care about balancing PvP or how the weapons release and how they'll affect the sandbox. I had spent 3 days playing Trials. The first 2 days, I had gotten to 5 wins several times, and then was immediately slaughtered by a team of randos, all having the Immortal or an Adept version. And I didn't have one yet, and I simply couldn't compete and got 5-0'd both times. And I run Mercy cards because I'm a little bitch. And would break a Mercy and then ruin the run consistently. After I got the Immortal, I was the one ruining runs. I am the one who knocks, Bungie. Trials Labs is going on this weekend as I'm recording the video, and it's very disappointing. I don't mind Trials Labs in the essence of themselves, but the drastic amount of changes made instead of keeping some things about the experience consistent feels a little ridiculous. Implementing a new game mode and then different pools at the same time makes me vastly hate this version of Trials, instead of it being just one or the other. I think Trials Labs is a good way to experiment with the status quo, but the changes should be made one at a time so it doesn't disrupt the natural state of things. Competitive is a joke, right? I tried to play earlier today. I was playing Trials and then realized Labs was horrible and switched over to competitive. I went 7 games in a row where I had won within the first round or 2 because people would leave. I didn't understand why, and then I started losing, and I had 2 people leave my team. And I went, okay, that's fine. I'll just finish out the game. I noticed I had in fact gained points on a loss, which was intriguing to me. And so I assumed, oh, that'll happen again the next time I have people leave. No. I lost half of a full rank, and I'm at Platinum 2. I'm not great at the game, but I maxed out my placements and can pretty confidently say I will hit Ascendant because, wow, it's very easy to, it seems, because half of the player base leaves after 30 seconds in a match. And I do not understand why, but if that saves me from losing competitive points, I would join them. Because losing half of a rank because randos decide to leave and not because you got outmatched is very disheartening. It feels like any changes that they want to make to this system are ill-advised or made by people who don't play enough Crucible to have accurate judgment of what is a good or bad change for the sandbox. My next one is bugs. There are so many bugs right now. It is bug central. Gnats, wasps, hornets, cicadas, centipedes, all over. What happened to Anteater? I miss the days when I got kicked out from a guitar and I got Anteatered. What's happening? Why are people experiencing audio that is so bad that they physically can't play the game? Why is it that the legendary shard economy is so bare bones that you take 4 hours after a patches or a bug is discovered to patch it, but don't offer alternatives for people to actually get these materials when the material cost for using them is so high? It doesn't make sense, and it's unhealthy for the economy of the game. Once again, I feel like this comes back to a lack of communication by Bungie and making changes that seem tone deaf but may make sense on the inside of the dev studio, but we don't know because Bungie refuses to explain these things. They don't communicate. That's the big one there, guys. Communication. Bungie says a lot, but a lot of the words mean jack shit. And lastly, I have a few of my own like hot takes or things that I think Destiny should just have naturally. First off, pinging. Why can't I ping? Why is there no pinging system? This game came out in 2017, and I feel like games have been pinging since before then. I don't know if it's something with the engine or with Bungie themselves, especially when it comes to playing competitive Crucible or Trials. The ability to not communicate with my teammates might be the biggest hindrance to winning, more so than broken team matchups or a lack of skill. I can't communicate with my teammates because nobody uses team chat. I try every match. Granted, it's me raging at them because I'm upsetty spaghetti. I feel like for a game and a company that prides themselves on communication and crossing the boundaries to play with anyone and everyone, I should be able to ping so that the llamas on my team realize you shouldn't rush 3 people with the Immortal and should flank instead. But alas, I can't do that. Speaking on other things that Bungie does that I don't really understand, I don't get killing Amanda off. There's no merit to killing Amanda. And if Amanda becomes a Guardian, I'm going to lose even more respect for Bungie's writing staff because, wow, you did it with Aldrin, and it was a slow burn, and it was fantastic. I don't want to happen to the rest of the human cast. I'm fine with Amanda dying, but the way she died was really stupid. Why would you have her be in the bomb room when everyone knows she is, in fact, mortal? When you have the Guardian, who is immortal, and could survive detonating a blast. The writing was set up so that they had to kill Amanda off. There is no other way. That's what they wanted to do. You know, Bungie writers were like little flies rubbing their hands together going, this is really going to hurt players. But it doesn't. It does not. Because it's a stupid kill. You could have had Callus kill Amanda off and give us more reason to hate the big bad. But no. Amanda dies being in a situation where any Guardian would have survived. And the writing threw her in there to give us a death as shock value. Prove me wrong. And here's my final hot take, and this is never going to happen, not in a million years, because it just won't. I personally wish Destiny would have ended with the Light and Dark saga. That is the point at which I am probably just going to put the series down and stop playing nor supporting it financially. And hell, it was even a challenge to get me to support Lightfall, and it still isn't worth the $33 it was on sale for. I feel like with how Bungie has been handling Destiny, I am not confident in them doing stuff beyond the Light and Dark saga, nor do I have an interest in engaging with the medium beyond. If you cannot kill the expansions, and kill as in perform to a degree of like Witch Queen or Forsaken, I don't have faith. You needed this expansion, Lightfall, to be at the same level of Witch Queen. This is the most people have been playing the game in years, and you've given them a disappointing and worthless narrative that only gives more questions than answers. I have little faith for this year's seasonal content, and I have less faith in the final shape. I hope that they not only knock it out of the park, but exceed everyone's expectations, but the penultimate chapter of Destiny is a lackluster piece of content that has been misguided by a business that does not want to listen nor engage with their community when they are violently screaming for change. There's always a joke that Bungie does not like fun. Lightfall proves Bungie does not like fun, but more so that they actively want to stop players from having fun. I am left confused, upset, and disappointed at this expansion, and I will not be getting any of the seasonal content, as it is proven to not really have any merit, nor the thought-provoking story writing that I would expect from Bungie. Anyways, I've been recording for 40 minutes, and this will probably be like an 8-minute video, because I just kept redoing sections. I didn't like how I was wording stuff. Hell, I could probably redo this and make it better. I don't care. I've spent too much time thinking about Destiny today. In other news, thank you for 17,000 subscribers. Also, I am the first YouTuber to get a green play button. I dip mine in battery acid. You can't tell me otherwise. I also do indeed have one. I didn't steal my roommate's play button, I assure you. Oh, maybe I should do like a little wave to end the video. Right? Like that.